Hey, welcome to the award-winning 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl, broadcasting you live from Fishbowl Studios here in Bedford, Texas. We are proudly sponsored by the Biker Wolfpack, ow! And the Glenn Lawson Law Firm. If you ride, make sure you have Glenn Lawson on your side. We are powered by the OBBM Network, and we are coming off a huge weekend, man, for Pinups and Pistons. Man, Pipple, I gotta bow down to you. You know, you did really an amazing job getting everything together. The food trucks, from the pinups to the cars to the bikes, was amazing. We raised some good money for Hunting with Soldiers, which we will have them on probably next week to present them with their check when they get back from hunting.
Fishing?
Or fishing.
I think they're fishing this
They're fishing this weekend?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, we got a packed show for you today. We have Johnny Rizzo and Dawn from Motorcycle Mayhem and Rockin' the Road for a Cure in the house. We have some great barbecue sitting on there, and I see off to the side that Johnny's already licking his lips. He's like,
He's like, it smells good in here.
Yeah. And then we got Flex with our biker fitness, and we got Glenn Lawson coming in with some good driverless
ATVs.
18-wheelers.
ATVs, yeah.
18-wheelers, not ATVs.
I think he said ATVs.
I think he said 18-wheelers.
Or maybe, I don't know, 18-something.
But either way, man, you know, we are getting these driverless cars and trucks on the road.
I know Uber had a van coming out.
Huh?
Uber had a van coming out that was driverless.
Yeah, and
I don't know how they're going to do the traffic here. All the people cutting them off. I mean, I just don't see how that would work.
But you know, when we last week we talked about the distracted drivers with motorcycles, right? Mm-hmm. You know, how is one of these vehicles going to react to one of our motorcycles on the road, man? You know, we got Lori Montoya over in Colorado. She's going to be coming on. I'm sure she'll weigh in. I think she's going to be doing the Ice Bucket Challenge on air.
It's snowing there.
I think so, man. That's so cool.
She posted something about snow.
Yeah, they're getting hit with some heavy snow.
So a true Ice Bucket Challenge.
So, but we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from our sponsor, Glenn Lawson, and then we're going to bring on Randall, who really knocked it out of the park at Pinups and Pistons for our food truck right after these messages.
Biker Wolfpack Law is a safety organization founded by myself alongside Robert Howell with the primary focus of motorcycle safety, advocacy for injured bikers, and just general protection for those injured while riding motorcycles in the great state of Texas. Biker Wolfpack Law is a division of Glenn Larson Law Injury Attorneys, which is my firm. What's different about Biker Wolfpack Law is it's a community-based, event-based connection component to make sure that motorcyclists have all of the safety information they need, all of the legal information they need, and frankly, if needed, that full-blown legal advocacy in times of injury through no fault of their own.
One of our big events is we do ASM classes, which are accident scene management classes, which are put on with the Road Guardians, a group of riders that are usually EMTs, doctors, nurses that also ride. And so they know what can happen when you're out there by yourself. And so it's a very intense class, like how to do tourniquets, how to get a helmet off of a person without hurting their neck more, how to get somebody out of the middle of the road. We do those a couple times a year, and the more safe riders are out there, the better it is.
The second division and component of Biker Wolfpack Law is to sponsor local musicians at bike nights or other community events that involve motorcyclists, but also just the community as a whole. And then third is larger charity organization events or rides to get out in the fresh air and have some fun. What I love most about representing bikers and motorcyclists across the great state of Texas is really one thing. It's about hearing the story. It's about going to motorcycle events, constantly meeting new people and making new connections. One of the reasons why I started Biker Wolfpack Law was to defeat and counteract many of the biases that are out there that, quote, motorcyclists are just dangerous. Make sure that motorcyclists are seen as exactly who they are, very hardworking, very responsible, and very dedicated individuals that deserve the justice that they need.
Hey, welcome back to the 99% Radio Network. Man, like I said, we were wrapping up with Pinups and Pistons, and big shout out to Yolanda and her whole staff at Fort Worth Indian for everything they did for us and you know they open up their doors, their wallets, their hearts.
They even dressed up.
They even dressed up, man. It was fantastic. But you know that event wouldn't have been anything if we didn't have the amazing food trucks that were there.
Yes.
You know,
I heard
and
great things about
Randall,
this one.
Randall, man,
Lone Star.
Lone Star Cuisine.
Yeah, just talk a little bit into the mic. There you go.
Yeah, I
All
heard
right,
a
there we
lot
go.
of great things about the barbecue.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to know that.
So tell us a little about Lone Star Barbecue, man. How did
Well,
it start off?
It started off with basically my cousin and I, we've been talking about trying to do this for years. And finally, it was just let's jump both feet in the fire, and let's see what we can do with it. I'd been running for years with my other company called Trouble Tea Barbecue, and it's been a big hit. And now we've got a food truck up and running, and it's making things a whole lot better for us.
Yeah, I didn't hear one complaint about your barbecue that day. Me and Tigger, we ended up eating the brisket on that sandwich. I mean, it
I
just
heard the brisket sandwich was
the
really
brisket
good.
was just amazing.
I know. Johnny Rizzo's
Johnny's
over
like,
here smelling.
just open it up, just open it up.
Randall brought us some barbecue today that we're
did.
going to dig into here in a little bit, and it smells amazing in here.
Yeah, it really does.
Meat.
What's the new shirt? You play with your meat?
Play with my meat.
He's
I
gonna
like to play with my meat.
He likes to play with
He
his
likes
meat.
pork butts. I cannot lie.
So Randall, I mean, you know, food trucks are a huge thing, but you have to really put yourself above the rest. What is the special thing that you do that no other truck does?
Barbecue.
It's probably the love that I put into the creations that I make. I take a lot of pride and a lot of heart and soul into it, and I try to make sure that everybody that's around me is enjoying it. And if nobody enjoys it, then I'm not doing the right job.
Well, I mean, you definitely put your heart and soul into your brisket that day. That's what I was able to taste. What are some of the things on the menu?
We have what we call the Texas Disaster. It is it's
my
loaded
kinda dish.
fries. It is. It's loaded fries, and you get pork and brisket on it. You also get all the fixings go along with it, as in, jalapenos and pico and anything else that you want.
Flex is sitting there going, well, does it come with a cardiologist?
It does.
Here's a cardiologist card with those cheese fries.
It's on the napkin.
The brisket nachos is really the #1 hit out there. I've done a couple of competitions with it, and it's knocked it out of the park multiple times.
Well, your brisket is beyond. I've had a lot of different barbecue from a lot of different places, and yours was right there up on the top, man.
I appreciate
It
it.
was right there on the top.
So I'm curious, what did you bring us today?
Yeah, what did you bring us
Today I brought y'all sliced beef barbecue with some sausage.
You can't wait.
He can't wait.
I want to show, and I want to. Let's open this up.
Yeah, that's the beans.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Whatever it is has bacon on it.
Oh my God! Look at that. That's gonna clog your arteries.
Good thing I don't have to see you guys for another week.
That there's your brisket.
Look at that. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
He's over there like
You're from
drooling.
New York, and you want some real barbecue, so guess what?
Or was that all the fixings? Oh.
Oh.
Sausage.
Oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
There's some sausage.
We got onions, we got pickles over here, got potato salad.
Oh my
barbecue
God.
sauce.
That's just fucking amazing.
Out of this world.
Oh, it snaps too.
I know.
You gotta have the snap.
Wow. So Randall,
You guys go ahead. I'm gonna go over here.
if someone's looking for a food truck for their event, for their charity event, or just to be at their place of business or whatever, for just for
Whatever
a
they
luncheon,
want.
whatever they want.
Yes, sir.
How do they get a hold of you?
They can find us on Facebook at Lone Star Cuisine or Trouble Tea Barbecue. You can also reach out to us at LoneStarCuisineRandall.com.
All right.
And if
Well,
you can't find all that, reach out to us. I'll get you in contact with him too.
yeah, their contact information will be up on our website. Just click the link, and it will bring you
We're
right
gonna
over to
make him an official
Randall's.
99
they're gonna
barbecue.
Well, Randall, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
for bringing the food and being part
Yes,
of the
sir.
99% Radio Network, man.
Appreciate it.
Hey, all right, man. We are ready to eat. I know Johnny's ready to eat.
I
what
can't
time-
think now after that.
All right, we're gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna bring up our next guest. Let's just play a quick commercial, and we'll be back right after these messages.
I was in an accident 12 months ago to the day. I was driving on southbound Santa Fe, and somebody did a suicide left in front of me, and I T-boned him at 45 miles an hour. From that point forward, I don't remember anything for the next 18 days because I was in a coma.
She broke 9 bones, lacerated my spleen, put me in the hospital for 21 days. I remember none of it.
Biker Down was founded in 2011 after riding several rides over the summer and seeing, tragically, my friends get injured. And I felt that there was a need missing in Denver and in Colorado for an organization that helped the biker community. As you may know, the bikers are one of the most charitable entities out there, and what we do is provide them a variety of services such as medical equipment, financial assistance if necessary, and a plethora of resources to help them stay afloat during the hardest time of their life, which is their recovery. You know, my biggest hope is that I'll never get another phone call that a biker's gone down, but you know, that's not realistic. So I think my true realistic dream is that we can help as many as we can help, because it is life-changing for them. Certainly donating and volunteering your time, and even if you can't do that, attend our events. You know, attend our event and get a $20 t-shirt for your $20. You know, those kind of things make a big difference in a small nonprofit like ours.
Oh, man, welcome back to the 99. We are stuffing our faces here in the studio. I want to welcome Johnny Rizzo from New York for Motorcycle Mayhem. Welcome, Johnny.
I'm busy here.
Welcome.
Hey!
Thanks for coming
What's
down.
up, man?
Thanks for coming down.
I'm glad to be here, man. That's what a professional studio looks like. All right, wow.
We got your food, like you
My
know.
God, look at this. I'm in heaven. I
Right.
thought I was going to pass out over
I'm sure
there.
their guests are.
This is all because of Pitbull. She was like, I got to feed Johnny.
He said
I
he
gotta feed
wanted
him.
barbecue.
I got to say, I can't believe how tall she is. I was like, wow.
6 foot F-bomb.
The best hug of the day was her hugging Dawn.
My best friend is actually her height, so it's
Wow.
like, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, how was the flight coming here?
Well, the flight coming here, what did we get delayed like a half an hour on the way down?
Because yesterday we had some pretty bad storms.
Well, that's what happened was we landed right in Houston, and then the plane stops on the runway. I'm like, all right, well, can we get off now? An hour and a half. They made
you
us
would
sit there.
sit
Oh,
on the
no.
tarmac?
Yeah, because the plane in front of us was in our terminal, and it was broken down. Plus, they made all these other flights come from here to there.
What time was this? It was late too, wasn't
It
it?
was like 12 o'clock. Something
Oh,
like
I
that.
thought you guys came
I was
in
like,
late.
I'm hungry. You know what I'm saying? I mean, my ribs was showing.
Bring me
I'm
peanuts.
starving.
Bring me
You
something.
know what I mean? So, but I gotta
He's
eat.
been talking about Barbie for a week leading up
Right?
to this too.
But I will say, we went over to Prison Break Tattoo.
I saw.
Yes.
Beautiful place.
Yeah.
Really awesome. I mean, that's the whole jail cell theme is awesome.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I need to
And the
get down
electric
there.
chair and all that, you know?
Yeah, Hal and Jen and the whole staff of Prison Break, they are really a community-based veteran first responder tattoo shop that was featured on A&E way back
Yep.
with Heroes, Inc., and everything in that is about our heroes and our veterans and our first responders. That we were down there a couple of months ago where we interviewed DJ Daniels and Leather Up. I got a big shout out for your sponsor, Leather Up,
yep.
who's sent
our
us some nice vests and also sent a vest over to DJ Daniels
yep.
that you dropped off at.
Well, they gave him a jacket. Awesome. Like I said, it's not only Leather Up, because Leather Up owns Hot Leathers and Milwaukee Leather.
Okay.
So I go to those places and they got great stuff over there. So they saw the show that we did with DJ and they wanted to donate a jacket to him.
Wow.
And they wanted to give you guys vests as well.
Fantastic, man.
We're
We
going to make these the official
these
99.
Yeah, these are the official
All right.
99
cuts
vests.
for
Yeah.
them, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So I want to thank Leather Up Milwaukee and everybody from there. What?
We got shirts for you guys too.
All right.
Wow.
Man, I think I only grabbed what I can grab here. I should have had. Man, fun
Well,
thing.
I have
Breakdown,
a
you gave it to me.
I have a shirt. I have a
You have one.
I have a shirt. Yeah,
All right,
Motorcycle Mayhem shirt.
So what do we have here? We
Oh,
have.
aren't you special? I don't have one.
Well,
All right, hold on.
all right.
I'm gonna have to give you the one.
I'm wearing my official pinup and Pistons shirt.
I got a medium.
That'll work.
That's you.
That'll work.
All
All
right.
right.
Presents and food.
Food, man.
Did,
with
did
this
you
stuff.
did you bring
I gotta tell you.
the quadruple X for flex?
Yeah, I was gonna say. Extra large.
Yeah.
I love it.
Wear that in good health. I've been thinking about you the whole time.
Oh man.
All right, wait.
And that should be.
Like we have the right size man because we were a mess when. I'm gonna get in trouble. Wait for her.
Man, well, while you're getting all that away, I want to say hello to Massimino, man, one of our dedicated
Yes,
followers.
definitely.
He is in Phoenix, Arizona today, head back to Italy. Have a safe flight, Massimino. I appreciate you tuning in each and every
Supporting
week.
us. Love
Man,
you.
I see Lone Star Cuisine is on now.
Yes.
Your mama.
mama's always on
Your
it.
mama's always on.
I got two.
And she did her ice bucket challenge.
She did the ice bucket
She got
challenge.
Jeffrey Gray to do his.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
kinda cool.
Yes.
Ice bucket challenge.
The
I did
ice
that one
bucket.
time ago.
The ice
Yeah.
bucket. Yeah, they did
Doing
it for
it again.
ALS. But we got challenged by Mike Kislak and Aaron Wild with 92.1, Hank FM. So we started doing this,
got stitched
following
from the
about.
UK.
Yep, doing a mental health awareness challenge, which is one of those big issues that we are battling each and every day. Everybody's battling a little mental health issue.
Absolutely.
So we want to make sure that we get the awareness up, and it's okay not to be okay, man. It's just not okay to stay there. There are a lot of resources out there. If whatever modality you want to take, if you don't want to sit on a couch and talk to a therapist, there's equine therapy, there's hiking, there's trailing, there's hunting with soldiers. There are so many different modalities out there. You just can't sit on a couch and wallow, but you got to get your body moving.
Absolutely.
Especially even wind therapy. Get out there and do some wind therapy. Ink therapy. Go to Prison Tech too. Get some ink. Get yourself all inked up, man. You'd be surprised
you,
on
boo.
what these little things you do for yourself can help you. Right?
Absolutely.
So, speaking about wind therapy, man, we've been discussing motorcycle safety for the last couple of weeks with Lori Montoya
Motorcycle safety
and
month.
Glenn. It's Motorcycle Safety Month, and last week we talked about distracted drivers.
Yep.
Glenn, you brought up a thing today just before we came on that you want to talk about, and these are these unmanned vehicles that are
Yeah.
going to be traveling on our roadways now. So how, we're trying to combat distracted drivers with motorcycles. How are we going to combat an unmanned vehicle?
Well, it's unknown.
It's very unknown.
But
To be direct, so the issue really is it's twofold. And on a side note, as a typical lawyer, I'll answer the question with a question. No, I'm kidding.
You're not a typical lawyer.
Is the bottom line is going up the chain, keep it basic, and just holding those that are doing those things accountable. Back in the 1880s, I'm talking about 1800s, people resisted the telephone. People the telephone's going to ruin our society, right?
And it has.
They
They were
and all
right.
that kind of
It
stuff.
has.
It really
But
has.
Just
my-
now seeing it.
And I know I can hear my wife in the background as I get to the point. So
I need
the bottom line is that as lawyers, we have a role in society to make sure that information is out there and that those that might be causing danger are held accountable and that actual evolvement and resolution and changes occur. Technology is necessary and a great thing to a point. So to answer your question, it really has to do with balancing the need for technology, the need for efficiency, but never sacrificing safety. And I'll tie this into a certain app that's black with a four letters on or 5 letters on it. It starts with a U that most of us use a lot. That particular platform, because of many legislative movements from lawyers and people that have held that company accountable, that particular platform has created safety things. We have a safety program, a safety this, safety that. Well, all of their safety stuff is after the fact, after you're injured, after you're wrecked, after you're raped, after you're, flashed by someone who wasn't screened, after the person injures someone and kills a person, and the next day continues to drive for the company. Yeah. So those safety platforms need to be done on the front end. There's a lot of legislative movements that need to be done with those companies that are doing the 18-wheelers and the big rigs. They're actually not technically 18-wheelers. And by the way, you could have maybe got on time today because you could have rode from Houston to Dallas on the.
If you would have given me the right link today, I would have been here on time.
Well, there's you can, for more information, there's a company out there called Aurora Transportation, or Aurora in general, and another one called Axion, I think, and they are running. What's going on is they're using the test drive market on I-45, and so between Dallas and Houston, they're using driverless big rigs. And the literature is out there. Now, for me personally, as somebody who grew up in East Texas on the farm, the bottom line is they're also taking hard-working Americans' jobs away from them, and hard-working, great truck drivers, and there's a lot of good truck drivers out there. And for those guys, man, that's a whole nother conversation. I'll be washing dishes all night long, because in our family, you bring up politics, you wash all the dishes, right? That's the rule. So the bottom line is I love washing dishes, so I'll be the one to stir it up, and I don't give a damn. So the bottom line is it's still out there. Be aware of it. And so to relate this back to motorcycle safety, you really have to watch out for this because the technology is still undecided as to the blind spot monitoring that these big rigs have and the level of the lasers and the machinery involved in terms of – so the advocacy that's happening is what are the settings and the technology – I'm trying to put this in an engineering perspective because, as you know, the height line of the motorcycle might be quite different on a BMW versus a Fat Boy. Right. So, or a short burst. What about that blind spot? And man, it's crazy that it's out there. We're talking about it. There's a lot of conversations about how we're going to hold them accountable from an insurance perspective. But the bottom line is they're rushing it, and it's not safe
It shouldn't be rushed,
Yeah.
So more testing needs to be done. So way you can advocate against it, in my opinion, is, Facebook, social media. Use social media the way it's supposed to be using and the benefits that are out there. So that's what you can do. Just contact your local congressperson, raise a storm about it. Grassroots still matter. I know that's hard to believe sometimes in today's society, but they do. And we can look what happened with Tesla. So Tesla had all the driverless vehicles and all this stuff, and they dialed that back because enough people stood up against those mofos and made it happen.
Right.
So these tractor trailers now are on the road.
They're big rigs. Yeah, they technically don't all qualify. They're like the big box trucks and stuff. But yeah, they're on the road right now.
They're on the road.
On the road.
Somebody unload them.
Yeah.
You got robots.
They're probably going to try to reallocate the truck drivers to do that shit.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not cool.
Like I said, man, I am so for technology and progression.
It's scary.
My
Though.
brother
but it
owns
is
a
scary.
trucking company, so I'm all pro truck driver.
I was in QT the other day. They had this robot washing the floor. And
No,
you
I will
almost
take
tripped
that.
What?
I will take that.
That takes away a
I
job.
got R2D2 in the house.
But that takes away
Not my floor.
maybe in your house, but that takes away a job from somebody who could be mopping that floor.
That's really interesting that you said that because I said that to a couple of my daughters, and they said, "Well, actually, Dad, it might be the opposite. That in the 50 years, that the new market for jobs, for infrastructure, for people, trade schools, different things like that, is robotics and is training this stuff. So there's, look, I fought it as grandfather, like to my kids and my grandkid and grandchild. Like this is my job to be the protector, like Tulsa King style, and just go in their face. But the bottom line is, I may be wrong on that. So there's a lot of great things that are happening, but please stand up against driverless 18-wheelers and big rigs. That's my personal opinion. I got one thing to say about social media. Can we transition for a second?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Let me take a bite.
So,
That's the transition.
social media is the platform to use against these things. But if, my firm does a lot more than just motorcycle cases. We do cases against Meta and different companies that hold our children to levels of addiction that are beyond comprehension. The bottom line is, if your child or young adult in your family, age 25 or younger, started using social media under the age of 18, which that's about 99.99% of the population.
Yeah.
And they have suffered attempted suicide or worse, or have harmed themselves, self-harm, things of that nature, and use it more than 3 hours a day, which is most of the population, please contact my firm for more information. You probably have a case.
Wow.
So we are in the process of taking those on. And then the last piece of information that I want to give out there to folks is kind of tie it back to the Cowtown people and others. The old naval, if you live near the old Naval Air Station and all that in Fort Worth, or for that matter in Temple or out by what's now known as Fort Cavazos, used to be Fort Hood, please be aware of what's in the water. If you suffer from testicular cancer or kidney cancer, it's likely that your body is infected and contaminated with polyfluoroalkyl, which is in all the pans and all the other things that we eat, and is now known to be found in everywhere in the world, including polar bear blood. And you can thank 3M for that in 1970s and developing that chemical. So bottom line is, not to be like Debbie Downer, but last thing I got to say.
I got to eat something now.
This is one more thing. I'm really passionate. I love this
Say
food
something
here.
bad about sausage.
No, this food here.
No.
Let's say something good.
Not today. Do it next week.
So what we say is, a lot of people are like, what's the deal with personal injury cases? A personal injury case, a great lawyer who knows what they're doing, is like a chef. Okay? They got to be able to cook all the ingredients, make sure everything's taken care of, and that all the ingredients go into the case, because I love that analogy because I worked in restaurants for 18 years of my life. So when you're making badass brisket like this is here in front of me, you got to, there's a process. You got to be patient and know the process. Bottom line, contact us if you've got that situation. We can take care of it. It's making sure that you're the chef and the master of the case for the client to make sure that everything goes correctly.
That's why.
All right.
Don't drink water.
Yeah, don't drink
Bottom
water.
line.
Don't drink water.
Well, hey, listen, I've never heard a lawyer describe himself to a plate of brisket before,
I like it.
but it was a good analogy.
Style.
He made me
And,
hungry.
Because
I know, I'm about to starve.
two things, man. Randall came in here and he said what he puts into his brisket is mostly love,
Yep.
and that's what makes it and time and passion into his process. The experienced attorneys over at Glenn Lawson and the Biker Wolfpack do the same thing when they take your case on. They put the time, the passion, the love behind it.
Thank you.
It's not about the money. It's about getting what is rightly deserved and to make sure that you are well taken care of. So, Glenn, man, I want to thank you once again for
absolutely.
everything, bro.
Thank you
I
very
appreciate
much.
it.
I'm so grateful, and I'm looking forward to eating this food.
All right.
Or at least
Right.
one little
Get along.
one corner of it before Johnny eats it.
Why does Flesh keep looking at me? Flesh like, I want that guy.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to hear from Lori Montoya over in Colorado right after these messages.
Lori.
Thank you.
Dig in. Get a plate.
The reason why I made the decision to found and open Glenn Larson Law is for one simple reason. Every single client deserves to have their voice heard, their recovery made, and most of all, the closure and the compensation that they deserve. It has been my personal mission and personal dedication to making sure that every single thing we do with every ounce of loyalty, honor, certainty, and absolute unity to make sure that our client's story is told every single time. This is why I founded Glenn Larson Law.
Me and Glenn go way back. We first met in middle school. We were in high school together. We also worked together in college, waiting tables our first couple of years of school. And so we worked in the service industry together for a few years. So that kind of kept our tight bond together.
At Glenn Larson Law Injury Attorneys, we are passionate about serving our clients by honoring their stories, their voices, and their recovery. Our firm is built on the foundational principles of honor, certainty, passion, unity, and loyalty. To achieve our vision, we uphold our loyalty to our clients, each other, ourselves, our families, and our clients' families and friends in every single thing that we do. We are dedicated to providing exceptional support and guidance, ensuring that every client's journey is respected and valued.
With absolute certainty, we stand ready. Call us. We are here to serve you in your time of injury, to make sure that you receive the compensation, the closure, and most of all, that your story is told.
Hey, welcome
There
back
we
to
go.
99
Where are we?
Restaurant in
Where
the
are
Fishbowl.
we?
Hey, Lori.
Where are you?
Lori, where are you? Where is Lori today?
Lori is still in Colorado. I'm heading out tomorrow to Vegas to do motorcycle awareness day out there and stuff. But hey, Johnny Rizzo,
Hey,
hey, if you can tear yourself away from that brisket,
no,
No,
that's hard. Sorry, can't do that.
I got my motorcycle mayhem shirt on.
All right, so do I.
Yeah.
I'd like to file a formal complaint though with the 99% radio network for your satellite.
we have no
No, their HR's out of the office today.
Yeah, we have no brisket and stuff, so we want goodies and brisket too. So
We will
we'll have
send you some goodies.
There you go. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's a cold day in Colorado, and it's Motorcycle Awareness Month. And one thing that we were all doing together is we were doing a bike giveaway, or a helmet giveaway, not a bike. I don't have the money for a bike, but we did a drawing. And speaking of cyber and meta and Facebook problems, Glenn, I actually experienced something which I know you're probably tailoring a lot of your cases towards, the addiction and the algorithms that Facebook does for kids. But quite honestly, last week, all of a sudden I woke up on Saturday morning and every bit of my motorcycle awareness content was completely removed. My motorcycle. No, it was AI cybersecurity that was telling me that I was going against all their community standards, and did they not give me a warning, they just removed it.
Oh.
That's horrible.
And I mean, when I tell you your motorcycle awareness events are gone, all my Look Twice Save a Life posts were gone. Events, an accident scene management class I did a year ago was removed. The helmet giveaways in 3 states were gone. So on each one of these instances, you have to do what they call an appeal. And I am freaking out. So I tried to repost the event again. The AI cyber whatever took them down immediately and then warned me if I tried it again, I'd be removed. So it really is an interesting field that you're going into, because my first thought was, what lawyer do I know that could sue Facebook? Because you can't call them. There's no 1-800 number and you get someone on the phone. So
And the reality is they blackmail you and they hijack you and everything, every which way. And it might not even be Facebook, Lori. It could be some other person in the basement hacking you,
Like
and
flagging her
trying
or
to
something.
blackmail you. And
the reason I wanted to give you that positive reinforcement is that there are a lot of people out here that have, their own businesses, their own their, Etsy accounts and things like that. And I'm just saying, it's one thing for people, and then the advertisements out there, you can get an RV and sign up here, and then on everybody's Facebook pages, I'm getting spammed almost weekly by, you need to do this or your Facebook's going to be removed. And it's just interesting, and something that people should really pay attention to is that having someone that you could call, such as Glenn, could be incredibly invaluable in getting your
Critical.
Glenn
Lawson.
valuable. I'm sorry. We're going to get into that. I had a pretty rough week. So,
I'm
but
sorry,
anyway,
Lori, that happened to you. That really sucks.
And
Yeah,
condolences.
Stressful.
Yeah, This is why
Well, it really wasn't that. I'll get into what it
Yeah.
was. But the
Yeah.
point is that when that happens, you feel absolutely powerless to fight back. And that's my work content. And that could affect my events and it could affect someone's business. And it's just not right. And so really great to have a resource of someone that could help them. One of the things when you guys were talking about the semis that don't have drivers and stuff. CORE, which is Coalition of Independent Riders, ABATE, and the Motorcycle Riders Foundation have been working on this for years because the technology that was going into those types of vehicles was having a very difficult time reading small vehicles such as motorcycles and bicycles. So that problem that's bubbling to the surface now has actually been around for a number of years. And if anybody needs those articles and things like that, there was just a huge study in Australia that they're trying to fix that problem so that they see the small vehicles, mopeds,
Koala bears.
polar bears, right? And stuff. So, just really interesting, some of the great topics that you guys are coming out with and stuff. So I just wanted to say that. And when it comes to the veterans and things, we here in Colorado, we have the Motorcycle Relief Project that helps veterans with mental health and things like that. So on to a positive note, it is our helmet giveaway. And the 99% Radio Network worked really hard to get a helmet donated. Do you know what kind of helmet it is and who donated it?
Well, we don't know what type of helmet it is yet, but it'll probably be, we'll have to have the person who wins go down there and get fitted for it. But Yolanda over at Fort Worth Indian was generous enough to say through Motorcycle May, she will donate a helmet for this cause.
And that's just amazing. It really is. And as we had talked about before, it's so vitally important to get properly sized for a helmet. So I'm really thrilled that that they're willing to do that, and hope maybe you'll go down there. I don't know if you guys ride with helmets, but if you don't, go down there, at least get sized and get a feel for it. Cause I really fought the full face helmet myself, but
it's the same thing like what you've been saying, like the face behind the helmet. I wear a helmet. I didn't at the beginning because you're cool. You're on the bike. It's hot, but I have a kid at home. I'm a mom. It's the face behind the helmet. So Yolanda is also going to be doing the face behind the helmet. We talked to everybody about doing the face behind the helmet. We love that campaign.
Yeah.
We're more than just a biker.
Yeah, we really are. And, it's just really important because, as I said, because I was a snowmobiler and stuff, I really fought it. And so I went to a half shell, blinged it out. I was cool. I looked like the po-po going down the road. And people could see me from a mile away. And then my granddaughter, said, Grandma, what's going to happen to your face, and I was like, oh my God.
It was when I had my kid, I started wearing a full face.
Yeah. And so I actually rode this weekend and was really one of the first weekends that I had the brake free and everything on. And, I had my that sunglass visor down, and it really wasn't that bad. Now, if I'm in Vegas and it's 125, I may have to, I will not rethink it, but I'm going to have to learn where all those vents are and everything else. So with that being said, there's also a FedEx box, John, at your doorstep,
I heard.
That has 2 trauma packs in it. It has 7 motorcycle awareness t-shirts, and it has some swag in there. So I'll rely on you guys when you meet up with these winners and stuff to distribute that. But we also wanted each week for the winner to also have a really good trauma pack.
We have Gordon Melton on here from Hunting with Soldiers. He just commented he hated his full face until it saved his life.
Yeah.
Hey, Lori.
Yeah.
Well, whoever wins that helmet, Motorcycle Mayhem Radio and Leather Up are going to donate a vest to go with it.
Oh my God, that would just be so
very
amazing.
Nice, very nice.
That would be amazing.
Get them all geared up.
Yeah.
No excuse.
It is. It's great. So you guys do the drum roll.
Wait.
Oh, Glenn over here trying to say something.
So Robert and I were visiting a little bit about it, and y'all know this, but some of y'all know this, but Robert is an amazing graphic artist and painter, and does work for the NHL goalies mass, and is one of the title painters at SEMA every year. And So we're going to donate his time, and all we have to do is that the motorcycle helmet will be custom painted.
Wow.
Wow.
Shut up.
Well, then the winner is Laurie Montoya.
I'm going to pay.
Yes, and the winner's
Lori won.
It'll be custom painted. And so what we've done in the past is somebody has a personal cause. One guy we was serving the Air Force for so many years, had a squadron all over, all
They
this
do a
stuff.
collage for him.
And so we just do a whole custom paint job
That's
for the
so
helmet.
badass.
And we'll only have one little catch to it, of course, as a lawyer. There's one little tiny wolf somewhere in the somewhere embedded you can't see. But yeah, I'll just touch base with Robert Howe after with Indian, and that'll be a where to circle up. And he's got a lot of paint work he's doing, but it'll probably be this year, probably in the fall. So the person can really enjoy that. It's about a 3-month process.
Very nice.
Very
nice.
Excellent.
Again, the winner is Laurie Montoya with Biker
We
Down.
make a difference together.
A team.
As a
effort.
team, we got Motorcycle Mayhem, the 99% Radio Network, the Biker Wolf Pack. We all collaborate. We got Biker Down. We all collaborate. We can bring together the safety and awareness for our riders out there, bring you a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and raise money for our veterans and our first responders. This is what it's all about.
That's right.
It's getting the word out,
Absolutely.
and it's a
Where
collaboration.
the rubber meets the road.
Where the rubber meets the road, we make a difference together. So,
Okay, with
The
that
person
being
needs our
said,
balance.
I'm drawing the name. You ready?
I am
what are you
ready.
doing?
I know what she's
Drawing the
doing.
name.
She's going to do it.
You're drawing the name.
Yeah.
Now?
Drawing the name
Sure.
right now. Okay,
Drum
here
roll.
we go.
All right.
And that's a Lori.
And the winner, well, I wish it was Lori. If this person doesn't show up, the second runner-up is Lori. Monica Felton from Crowley, Texas.
Monica
Whoa!
Felton.
All
Monica
right,
Felton.
Monica Felton from Crowley, Texas.
Yeah, and I will get that information to you guys. It's got her personal on there and
Get it from
stuff,
you, please.
and we'll get her all set up. But I did just post when the show
That was from
started.
Crowley, Texas. You said.
Crowley, yeah.
You
Crowley,
know what?
Tex-
Wait. Monica Felton.
Why does that
I
sound
wonder
familiar?
if.
From Mr. Crowley, Texas.
Wait a minute. That may be Big Bird's wife from Hunting with Soldiers.
That might be.
I think that's her first name.
Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, I just posted the link now that we're all back up and running. So I just want to say to all you Texas riders to please get on there and fill out the forms. We're not going to spam you. I'm a nonprofit. I don't spam you. There's certain guidelines that one has to follow. So please don't be afraid. If I can remember once a month to send you a Biker Down newsletter, it's really not going to be something that you're just going to get relentlessly spammed. So, these helmets are incredibly valuable, could possibly save a life. And with all the other goodies, including Glenn's very generous offer, this is something special. And this is about what motorcycle awareness is. I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, but I got a thing the other day where all of a sudden this song Get Together by the Youngbloods. Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Gotta love one another right now. And all of a sudden I got on Chat GPT and I had it write me a motorcycle awareness song. And so I've got a band here in Colorado that's going to take my lyrics and really spruce it up and fine tune it. And then we're going to really create an amazing song that you can, just sing, and maybe it'll resonate with the car drivers to watch more for us. So, we're always trying to come up with faces behind the helmet. Take your helmet to work week. I don't have a picture of Glenn yet at the law office with his helmet on, but I'm sure, or John, I don't have a picture of you with your helmet at work.
I got a half shell, but I'll bring it. I'll bring it
Whatever
tomorrow.
it is, it's still a helmet.
I
So-
will bring it tomorrow.
but you guys do that, and that would be great. And there's a Texas coalition that gave me that idea to kind of do the work week versus take your work to work for a day. And so they've been working with me to get the message out. So it's just about saving lives. Yesterday I went to a home here in Colorado where a left turn took out their 25-year-old husband, and she's 22, and she's got an 11-month-old daughter, and she's got a 4-year-old daughter with leukemia. And this family is absolutely devastated. And the driver said, well, I was trying to make the light.
Wow.
That
doesn't bring them back.
you know, so while everything is fun, and we this is a great show that has humor and everything else, there are people that are losing their lives out there and having you know, and it was a horrible thing for me to say to her while I'm talking to her, saying, listen, we need to get you a true motorcycle attorney sooner than later. You know, we need to secure the cameras. We don't need to rely on law enforcement or somebody or a witness. We need to get on this right now and let them do the work. And that's what most people don't understand, is why we press that upon people to get a true motorcycle attorney sooner than later. Is you need to worry about recovery of your family member. You don't need to be worried calling the police going, where's my police report? Where's my police report? Let them do that investigation. Let them do that research and things like that, so that you can either grieve properly or you can stay by the hospital and then let Biker Down help you with the other things. So it really comes twofold. You know, you take the safety classes before you ride, you get the right insurance, you know, you take the accident scene management. If an accident should happen, you go to a firm like Glenn or you come to the nonprofit Biker Down. You know, we then kick in and help you with the recovery. So it really is a full circle of people in this industry that are here to help you. And where's Dawn?
Dawn's sitting on the sideline.
She's eating.
She's gonna come in. She's coming in a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm going to stay on for a little bit because the reason that I had a bad week is I lost one of a dear friend in Las Vegas to stage 4 breast cancer. And the first person that I thought about was Dawn, and I'd met her on that cruise that we went on last year. And I just thought about all the great things. And, you can walk for cancer and go to those big events that have, 5,000, 5K runners and everything else, but you don't really know where that money goes. And the thing about Dawn's organization is they're like Biker Down. They're grassroots. They're giving you a food card to survive. They're helping you with a utility or all the grassroots things that a cancer patient in recovery really needs. And so I just wanted her to know that in spirit, I was really thinking about her yesterday as heaven got another angel. And we called her Cupcake, and she was really just a very special person. So with that being said, I'm going to close out by playing this video or tell them in the control tower to play my video. I was challenged by your mother to do this ice bucket challenge for mental health. And I was going to try to do it live, but then I would have looked like caca on the segment. And I'm too vain for that at 20 and stuff. So my husband loves you guys for nominating me because he got to throw a big old bucket of ice on me. And he's not getting any boom boom for a while because he just entirely enjoyed that way too much. And so I'm going to figure out who my 3 next victims are for the mental health challenge. Next time I will pick people that are in weather that's above 35 degrees.
My bad.
My bad. And so if they will play that, but what I want to say is thank you all for allowing me this time, especially during Motorcycle Awareness and every week. It's my honor to work with you guys. And, I just see us all doing amazing things. And I just am very honored to be a part of it. And Glenn, thank you for the time that you've given me. Johnny, you've had me on so many times when you didn't need to, you just felt it was important. And John, you've been my friend for years, and, we've talked about those cruises and everything else, but we've always cared about helping people and adopting families for the holidays. And without you guys, I couldn't do what I do. So, and Miss Patricia, I'm going to come to Texas, and we are going to go boot scooting. And I used to live in Houston.
There's trouble right there,
I know how to do a pretty mean 2-step. And anyway, God bless you guys. And if they'll play that video, and after that, I'm going to sign out.
You have that video? He's got it. He's got it.
Okay. All right. God bless you guys. Ride safe.
God bless, Lori. All right. Here's Lori Montoya with her ice bucket mental health challenge. Roll that tape.
This is Laurie Montoya with Biker Down. I was challenged by Deborah out of Daytona, Florida, to do the Ice Bucket Challenge for mental health awareness. I'm not super thrilled about this because, as you can see, I'm in Denver, Colorado, and it's snowing and cold. But because mental health is so important, and my husband Chomper is really looking forward to doing this, but everybody be aware, and I'm going to post the 3 that I challenged to also do the Ice Bucket Challenge. But thank you to the 99% Radio Network for allowing me on this segment today, and God bless you guys. And on 3, Chomper, ready? 1, 2, do it fast. Oh, you asshole. Oh, God. You have no idea how much he enjoyed that. But on behalf of Biker Down Colorado, Biker Down National, mental health awareness is incredibly important.
We're eating over here.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back,
awesome.
man. Woo! Man, thank you, Lori, for being a trooper and getting that ice bucket on you, because that really helps raise awareness, man. Have you stopped eating?
No.
We're not getting barbecue like this in New York.
Well, tell
No,
you
you're
know.
not.
Well, what do you think? What's your favorite so far?
Oh, this, well, you guys call it sausage.
You call it
Kielbasa.
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 But that's amazing. Has a snap.
No.
All right. I haven't tried that yet. What is that, beans?
It looks like a.
Yeah,
I
like
apologize
beans,
now, Dawn. I'm having the beans.
It happens in Texas.
brisket's
stays in
amazing.
Texas.
The brisket, yeah. Yep.
Everything's so good. You know, it's really important in the biking world to have a good food truck,
Mhm.
because all the bike nights we have, the bike events, even at Bike Week in Daytona, you got a good food truck, you're making money.
Yep.
You don't have a good food truck, you're not making the money. So this guy's got some good stuff. With Lone Star.
Lone Star, yeah.
Lone
Yeah,
Star.
So, Gary Michaels just said,
Gary.
watching Rizzo and Sideshow eat barbecue is kind of reminding me of cannibalism.
There he is. Gotta love Gary Michaels. Love you, Gary.
You just wish you were here to have some of this kielbasa.
Yeah, Gary. Yeah. Why aren't you here?
You should see, you should hear the smacking going on in
Let's-
the
let's-
studio
let's-
right now.
Listen to the snap.
All right. As we clog our arteries with the bacon, the
Oh, no.
brisket, and the sausage, we're going to take a really short break, and we're going to bring in our biker fitness guru,
Because he has a mouthful of
as he is
meat.
like looking at us going, oh my God, all my work right down the tubes.
Johnny Rizzo walks in there
and we'll be
everything
back
ruined.
right after this.
What we believe in at Glenn Larson Law is doing one thing and doing it really well. When I meet people, I always tell them we're going to uncover every single rock possible. That's the medical component, that's your story and your voice.
We've solely focused on personal injury, whether that be a slip and fall accident or a commercial 18-wheeler, a motorcycle or DWI, motor vehicle accident. We specialize in that and that only.
When someone says, my neck really hurts, I know exactly how that feels. There's so much more to an injury case dealing with the pain level that people go through and how it affects their lives. And I know how to advocate to make sure that the insurance companies take all of that in consideration in every case.
We're very transparent and open to always keep them informed and stay on top of their case at all times.
Because we're a little bit smaller in team numbers, we're able to really dive into every single case and develop not only a client relationship, but a friendship and a lifelong connection.
We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll meet you anywhere, at the scene, in the hospital, at your home. Whatever's best for the client, we will do every single time.
There is a connection component that I believe our firm is committed to. We want to be connected with you and your family beyond this case so that you know that you have a lifelong partner. Not just a case, but a lifelong connection and a lifelong voice. And we look forward to serving you.
Well,
yeah.
we were on. Welcome Welcome back.
All right, man. We are back.
I should have said, ma'am.
But he
Yeah,
can't think there's
Woo.
barbecue in their face.
There
They're
is
like meat coma,
It really is.
meatmatized.
Randall did a spectacular job with all this
Wow. Cuisine.
Gotta tell you.
Good job, Brandon.
food. So now we're going to get into some biker fitness as we have all of this meat. And, well, hey, listen, the meat is really good for you, right? It's keto. Friendly. It's keto,
Keto.
right? Welcome, Flex.
He's like, yeah, whatever you
and
say.
Biker Fitness.
Potato salad
All right,
yet.
thank y'all. Welcome everybody to Flex Talk. Let's get this out of the way real quick. Thanks for joining us today. Yes, I will say that there is a lot of protein here, and there's a lot of things that'll kill you quickly. So what we're talking about is moderation's key. You want good Texas barbecue, and you want my approval.
You said
You better
moderation.
measure your shit out.
You
I'm just
said
saying right
moderation. He almost
Moderation.
choked.
there is
So this
nothing.
is not a plate.
Typically in the state of Texas, we don't know about moderation,
This guy
but we
scares
do
me.
know about obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and everything else. Let me tell you about it. So on this segment right now, we're going to talk about some things that's serious about what we're looking at in the biker world and how to keep you on the bike. And I don't know, try to keep you away from heart disease. What do you think?
Well, you know, what do you think's worse right now? The brisket is supposed to be good for you,
Sausage
right?
is gonna be
Well,
the
the
worst.
sauce is going to be the worst.
There's so much fat in the sauce.
I think Texas barbecue is amazing. I think that depending on what you're dealing with in your life, what your goals are, and what your caloric intake is depends on whether you can have more or
that
less
was
of
so
this.
not an answer.
Now you said
I feel
moderation.
dizzy.
You said moderation.
Now, I would say that your unprocessed meats, your actual whole cuts, are going to be better for you, obviously.
So the brisket.
But I would say, once again, if you want something, depending on what your pre-existing is, either A, this would be a great protein source, or B, this could really add plaque to your arteries. What do you think?
Well, I'm not feeling good, but I'm going to have
I
another
know,
piece of
and you
sausage.
shouldn't, and that's not what I'm here
It's a
for.
cheat
The
day.
great thing is I'm here to make people uncomfortable. My
They
job
like
is
it.
damn right. I mean, we're in the biker world. We're in the beer drinking. We're in the hey, we stop off
We're
and weed
professional
here to get back on the road. And the crazy thing is we wonder why we have a stigma.
Right.
We do have a responsibility not only to our kids, to our family, to be on the road, to our community, and everything else, but to live as a productive member of society. And the funny thing is, to me, is it's like integrity. You don't wait to have integrity when everybody's in the room, do you?
Right.
It's about when they're out of the
Always.
room. What are you doing when people ain't there to hold you accountable to live the most vigorous, outstanding, productive life?
I would be eating the devil dogs if he would have brought them.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I apologize. Actually, I did forget him. I ate him.
I need that rock
Did you?
vodka.
So I guess a couple things that I wanted to talk about. Saw a biker on the road the other day, and we talk about health, fitness, and mental awareness. I don't know if this man picked up a woman or it was his woman that was from a bar or whatever, but he had one, the big dog choppers.
Yeah.
before they went out.
Yep.
No, they had no suction cup or anything, just had the big fender on the back.
Mm-hmm.
She was sitting on top of that,
Defender.
going down the highway, doing 75 miles per hour. There was no pegs, and she was held around that guy. My thing is whether that was your woman or not, you have a responsibility. That's precious cargo on the back of your bike. What
Right.
the
Someone's
fuck were
daughter.
you doing? It was in the DFW area, and I'm just saying, if you could hear this radio show and you were the one doing that, you're a moron. You really
Wow.
are. Okay? So if you
Sorry,
want
I
to
won't
call
do
in
that
and talk
again.
about it,
Promise.
I got you.
See,
But my thing is we talk about bike awareness and everything. What's the biggest things it's hard enough being on the road, right?
right.
Okay. How many times do we add alcohol to the mix, drugs to the mix? How many bikers have we seen go down? And we're easy to get up and be like, hey man, you want to go have a beer? But I ask any of y'all, hey, let's go have a workout a couple times a week. Man, I'll tell you what, I can get you a beer quicker than I can get you to get a workout. That's what's crazy how society's messed up today. You want to be on your bike, be the best to be on your bike, because you're only a step away from that next car hitting its brakes. And if your reaction is not on point, we're seeing you on a funeral. So my thing is when we're looking at mental, physical, spiritual health, all that in the biker world, it all equates down to the end of the day. Are you being the best version of you? And are you going to be able to take care of those grandbabies at the end of the day? You know what I mean?
It's a mental mindset.
It is.
Because you bring up such a great point. It's like, yeah, hey, well, let's go out for a couple of beers. We'll spend 2-3 hours at the bar,
Sure.
but we can't do 30 minutes in the gym.
And why is that? That's crazy.
Well, one thing is that the bars, unfortunately, are a very big part of the biker lifestyle.
Yeah.
Gyms, unfortunately, are not.
Right.
Right.
You can do
So
fundraisers
it's
at the
easier.
gym.
But
somebody
that's
can
my
do-
thing is
right.
why not look at preparation for the ride? If we're looking for preparation for the ride, it's not only nutrition, but it is the fitness before we even get on that bike.
True.
And we talk about don't put a stigma on us. What are we doing to erase that stigma? What are we doing to be more healthy, influential people of society, opposed to allowing people to hold that stigma on us because we're walking around, we're drinking, we're doing things that it's just a wake up call. I saw a lot this weekend. I've seen people call me and talk about their obesity, their diabetes, and things of that nature. And then we kind of sit down and look at a roadmap on where they've got, and they want a magic pill. You can't get like this overnight. But I will say this: that as we move forward on this, if you're in the biker world, you want to take care of your family and you see where we're going in this country and it means something to you, I don't know, nutrition, fitness. Those are the two things, and accountability. I keep preaching it. You want accountability, you can change, And the great thing about it is there's only two ways that people change. It's either inspiration or desperation, but both of them work. So with all this good food here, I'm not taking anything from Randall. I love you, Randall. I love your barbecue. I'm just saying that when it comes to making this world better than what I found it, sometimes we got to look at moderation. We got to look at the fuel that we put our body in. And if you're sedentary, once again, sedentary lives, it'll take 10 years to kill you. Have an active life. Live the full life that you can. And my thing is give more than you take. Be happy.
He's already pushing. He's like, I feel bad. No, I feel bad.
I understand what you're saying. Who needs this stuff? Right?
Actually,
who needs this? Pass the brisket.
Yeah.
three or four, 4 or 5 bites, 5-6 ounces. Absolutely understand what your body takes, because this is my thing: is if your body enjoys 3 bites of that, 4 bites of that, 6 bites of that, 2 bites of that, right, and it comes down, and your muscle bellies and your metabolism, everything's like, oh man, I was able to take that in, and I was allowed to, instead of store it, I was able to, my body took it all in, right? We don't have that. But the thing is if you eat this and you eat this and you eat this, and your body only needs this amount of serving.
That's why I only drink.
That's correct.
Glad I didn't sit next to him.
I told you I was scared of this guy, didn't I?
No, but you're right, and it's changing.
Yeah, I want the truth.
It's changing the perception of how we think and we eat, and when we bring on Dawn a little later on, she's going to also tell you on how much nutrition plays a factor in your health.
Absolutely.
God forbid you are diagnosed with something, because proper health could help you battle those cancers, those diabetes, different ailments in a much easier and healthier fashion. If you start now. If you are way out of shape, if you are eating junk, and if you're not mentally prepared, that disease will overtake your body.
I agree.
So the stronger you are, the healthier you are, the more nutritional value you have within your body, you will be able to fight off debilitating diseases. And just like in a cold, some people, their immune systems are built up.
I agree.
And it's just a healthy lifestyle.
And the great way that 99% Radio supports our bikers, supports our veterans, our police officers, our firemen. The thing is my segment's about y'all. Our motorcycle enthusiasts, everybody else that, if I'm holding your life accountable, I'm putting that in the forefront and I'm making you think about things, then guess what? The segment's working. And that's what this is about. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. This isn't always about good love. It's about tough love. That's what I'm here.
Tough love. All right, man. Well, I want to thank you, Flex. That was, take heed to this advice, because you know what? Life is fast, man. And before we know it, we will be at that age. We're going to be like, I should have started this 3 months ago. I should have started this 3 years ago. I say it all the time. Around February, I'm like, man, I'm going to get myself in shape for the summer. Here we are in May. I am not in shape. And, it. Nah. You want to slap my belly? But time goes by. Things get in the way. But we can make 30 minutes. We can make 45 minutes to take care of ourselves. Flex, once again, man, thank you for an amazing segment.
I got it, Flex. What are we? This is what, May?
Mm-hmm.
August 1st. The Motorcycle Mayhem 99% Radio Network weight loss contest will begin. So me and you. After this.
Okay. All right. You're going to Italy.
Yeah, I know.
You can't be hustling in Italy.
Oh, you can. All right.
Bread.
You can lose weight.
You're going to eat nutrition. You're going to eat healthy in Italy. Oh,
Dawn,
he will.
she said
Dawn's
it.
like, he will.
Yes.
Okay.
All
right.
I believe her.
All right. I'm with you.
Excuse me, I was eating. See him? Big guy, man. I'm scared shit of her. There you go.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to bring Dawn with Rockin' the Road for a Cure. We're going to hear more about Motorcycle Mayhem right after these messages.
Leather Up will keep you safe while looking great with a huge selection of armored and casual flannel shirts. From beaded to sleeveless, Leather Up's got badass gear for all riders and all seasons. Leather Up with 3.5 million customers since 1999. Iconic biker brands like Milwaukee Leather and Hot Leathers to give you the largest selections anywhere. Comfort, variety, classic styling, and affordability with free same-day shipping on orders over $100. Visit leatherup.com and use the promo code MAYHEM for 20% off.
Biker Wolfpack Law is a safety organization founded by myself alongside Robert Howell with the primary focus of motorcycle safety, advocacy for injured bikers, and just general protection for those injured while riding motorcycles in the great state of Texas. Biker Wolfpack Law is a division of Glenn Larson Law Injury Attorneys, which is my firm. What's different about Biker Wolfpack Law is it's a community-based, event-based connection component to make sure that motorcyclists have all of the safety information they need, all of the legal information they need, and frankly, if needed, that full-blown legal advocacy in times of injury through no fault of their own.
One of our big events is we do ASM classes, which are accident scene management classes, which are put on with the Road Guardians, group of riders that are usually EMTs, doctors, nurses that also ride. And so they know what can happen when you're out there by yourself. And so it's a very intense class, like how to do tourniquets, how to get a helmet off of a person without hurting their neck more, how to get somebody out of the middle of the road. We do those a couple times a year, and the more safe riders are out there, the better it is.
The second division and component of Biker Wolfpack Law is to sponsor local musicians at bike nights or other community events that involve motorcyclists, but also just the community as a whole. And then third is larger charity organization events or rides to get out in the fresh air and have some fun. What I love most about representing bikers and motorcyclists across the great state of Texas is really one thing. It's about hearing the story. It's about going to motorcycle events, constantly meeting new people and making new connections. One of the reasons why I started Biker Wolfpack Law was to defeat and counteract many of the biases that are out there that, quote, motorcyclists are just dangerous. Make sure that motorcyclists are seen as exactly who they are, very hardworking, very responsible, and very dedicated individuals that deserve the justice that they need.
Hey, welcome back to the 99% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl, broadcasting you live from Fishbowl Studios here in Bedford, Texas, man. We are powered by the OBBM Network and sponsored by the Biker Wolfpack. Ow! All right, we are back with Motorcycle Mayhem in the house. Johnny Rizzo.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to be here, man. And Dawn Dimilla.
Yes.
I said that right. Okay, Dawn Dimilla. Dawn, man, you guys both collaborated through Rock and Road for Cure and Motorcycle Mayhem, gave away a bike.
Yes, we did.
If I ever hear her say the words raffle and bike in the same sentence again, I might choke her out right here. If anybody. Okay.
It was very exciting, I have to
was.
say. It was a lot of work. We sold almost 185,
Yeah,
I think, or something.
185 tickets.
We were trying to get to 300. However, it's very difficult.
It is difficult.
We were selling them at
not easy.
$100 each.
But still, I mean, if you think about it, 300 tickets, that's a 1 in 300 chance to win a motorcycle.
Yes.
Those
Actually,
odds are really good.
It was 21 out of 300 because we had 21 prizes altogether.
Oh wow!
Including the
Less,
bike.
yeah,
Yeah,
and-
20 runner-up prizes.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Which were like vests, helmets, anything related to bikers, side
Yeah.
saddles, different things like that. But it was very exciting. I have to say, we spent almost a year, Johnny and I, raffling, selling the raffles, and it was to benefit Rock and the Road for a Cure, which is an organization I founded back in 2008 when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. I am a 3-time survivor, and with my first diagnosis, I, was lucky enough to have a lot of support from family and friends and people in the community who all stepped up, made me food, helped me with getting to my appointments, keeping track of things for me with doctors and things like that. Because when you're hit with a diagnosis of any type of cancer, it's shocking, first of all.
I can't imagine the to hear those words. I mean, you went in for a breast exam, I guess, right?
Yes.
Or you found a lump.
No,
and
I
you-
found it. I found it myself. My breast, it dimpled in.
Okay.
So that's one of the signs when you're doing your self exams, which everyone should do every week. Should do, men and women, by the way, should do your own self exams. You should know your body. Basically going around your breasts, feeling like this
Right.
around your breasts. Of course, on your skin on skin.
I tried doing that at the mall, but the strangers
You got
they
arrested.
called the cops on me.
So if you feel anything that's unusual, definitely go to the doctor right away and have it looked at, because you have nothing to lose by having something looked at. It could be something like a fatty
Right.
cyst or a tumor. It could be nothing, but you never know. So early detection is the best. Keep up with your mammograms every year, or self exams. A lot of a big percentage of women find it themselves.
Yeah.
What
But
age do you think that women need to start really going and getting checked or doing? it
Okay,
themselves?
so
But-
I'm gonna backtrack
yeah.
to when I was 19 years old.
Okay.
19 years old, I went to the gynecologist and she was doing a check on me and found a lump in my breast. So my first lump that was found was back in 2019. I'm sorry, I don't even know. No, I don't even know what year. All I know is I was 19 years old. And they found a lump. Again, didn't know if it was breast cancer or not, because back then they didn't even
19.
have, where the biopsy, they just right away, took it out. And so I had my first lumpectomy back when I was 19. Thank God it was a fatty tumor. But I'm saying you got to start basically when you become a teenager, because now more and more people are getting diagnosed at a younger age.
do you think when a woman's doing a self-exam, she finds a lump, and like you said, early detection is probably what's going to save your life?
Yes.
With
Right.
anything, yeah.
But are there, just like a man, you find something, you're like, you know what, it's going to go away. I'm going to let it
Especially
go.
men. I'm sorry
Yeah.
I
to
was gonna
say.
say the women
Yeah,
probably
you
would
know.
go. The men are
Yes.
gonna
Right,
wait
but,
a little bit.
it's the fear of what
you
you
wanna
may
know?
do you want to know, and I can see that in a lot of people going, oh well,
See,
well,
I'm a
I
little
just pulled a
different.
muscle, or
I'm a
I
little
don't
different.
know.
I'd rather go quickly and find out so I can quit worrying if it isn't something.
Yeah,
Yes.
no,
That's how I am. 'cause
But
I'm
I think a lot of people are
worrywart.
scared to find out, so they let
Yeah.
it go, and then it can just get progressively
yeah.
get
I
worse.
think it's more just unaware. I think a lot of people just don't really know to do it.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I admit I'm 42 years old. I really haven't had a proper exam.
A
I mean,
mammogram.
mammogram. I mean, I haven't had insurance. I've been a single mom, and so a lot of times that's the case. You're thinking the financial reasons, like, how much is
See,
that going to
luckily
cost?
for Dawn, I give her one every night now.
So even if you don't have insurance,
watch your next
there's
testicle
places
exam.
in every state that you could, look up an organization that will connect you to find a free mammogram.
Okay.
So if you don't have insurance, please do that. And a lot of times, if along with the free mammogram, if God forbid they do find something, they usually the place that provides the free mammogram can also find free insurance for you as well.
That was like
medical
a lot of
insurance.
since I was like me being a single mom, of course, had all my single mom friends too, and a lot of us didn't have insurance. I actually still don't.
Yes.
So that is a big thing, the cost wise, and you do put yourself kind of on the back burner a lot because you're worried about costs because you're worried about you got to pay for the bills for your kid first before you take care of yourself.
Of course. Even when we help patients, a lot of times when we say what will help make your journey easier, they're concerned about their children first before themselves even.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes we do things for the children because that's what mentally helps them feel better.
Yeah.
And if mentally you feel better, it's easier for you to battle the cancer and do better at getting into remission quicker or on an easier path.
I think a mental state. I mean, that
Yes.
would be like that is a big cure. If you're in a good state of mind, you got a
Right.
good, core around you.
Yes.
That brings up everything around you. I mean, I can't imagine somebody that doesn't have a support system having to go through that. And, that's why like things like this and getting people aware of what you're doing and they can find people that are going through the same things and have
Yes.
like-minded people around them and fight this together.
So unfortunately, a lot of people don't have support systems. We work with a lot of single moms, and they have no family. They really don't have, close friends. And we become their support system. And it's part of the reason I started this organization. I realized I was lucky to have that support, which many people are out there, but there's a lot of people that don't. So we're the people that they come to if they need, it's not only financial support, it's emotional support. It's, before what he was talking about is, talking about nutrition and spiritual support and physical and mental, all those things do count towards, recovery and getting through all this. So, when before you were talking about food and the brisket.
Matter of fact, you guys want some brisket? We got Hunting with Soldiers
and all
over there.
this good stuff.
Yeah.
It smells amazing. But
They're like, no, if we didn't kill it, we're not eating it.
Probably, right?
Is it venison?
we have a nutritionist who works with us, and basically, it's watching what you eat. Look at the ingredients on the box. Try to eat more whole foods. Stay away from
Be able
the
to pronounce
carbs.
what you can on the ingredients.
Yeah, you look at a box and you're like Exober, what.
And the first part of the ingredients, the first things that are listed are going to be the most pronounced in that. So make sure you be aware of like what's in it. The core ingredients are the first few things in there. I know it's hard to find everything that's completely all natural because the budget.
Right.
I mean, it's hard to buy.
It's more expensive to buy organic or
yes, it
good
is.
food.
And the lesser ingredients on there, the better when you're looking at box things or that type of thing. And when I said Johnny's going to actually lose weight in Italy, and the reason I say that is there is 1,000 ingredients that our FDA allows in our food in the United States that is not allowed overseas. And we have one of the highest rates of cancer here in the United States. And that's because what is allowed in our foods. So please check your labels. There's many things that are carcinogenics that we consume. I see they're trying to take out the red dye.
I heard that. I heard Robert Kennedy Jr.
Yes.
is trying to, and he brought that up at one of his statements that other overseas put a lot less chemicals and a lot less byproducts into their food, and we are just putting red dyes and all these different things into our food, and it's causing us health issues, obesity too. So when I went to Europe many years ago for like 3 weeks, I actually ate everything that was at these restaurants. I came back and I lost weight, and I couldn't understand how did I have all that pizza,
It's all the walking.
the pasta, this, but also it's because there's not all these chemicals put in. It's all ingredients
Natural.
that are fresh.
Right.
It's freshly made. It's picked off the vines, the trees.
Yes. But it tastes amazing.
We are eating foods that the chemicals in them are causing a lot of irregularities in our cells.
They focus on the shelf life more than the nutrition.
Yes.
It seems like.
So if, be aware, you're better off getting a whole potato than, a box of some instant rice or something like that. Check your ingredient. It's better to have jasmine rice than white rice or brown rice. So, kind of, do your own research. There's so many things. There's so, with social media, TikTok, all sorts of things, ways you could find information, or, just look up on Google. And you can't believe everything you read. So find out from different sources, but nutrition is very important in fighting this battle. Your emotional state is as well.
Yeah, we're getting a comment from Billy Ball. The FDA is a joke. If they approve it, it's a medicine. When they recall it, it's a drug. They approve all the BS and then they recall. And when they can no longer line their pockets from the people calling them out. And she's stating a fact, man, because it's the FDA that's just approving all these stuff to line their own pockets with it.
Right.
And they don't care about our health.
Because they want the pharmaceutical companies to make money.
Yeah.
So they don't care about our own health. And that's why everybody out there, you have to do your own research. You have to be proactive in whatever you put in your body, or whatever you do for your body, or whatever you give to your children or the people around you. So, try to cut down when you're used to eating some stuff that I know is really enjoyable to eat and taste, because we grew up eating these things, but they're not always great for you.
But you know what? As bikers, as guys that are always on the road, jumping, bar hopping, going from bar food to bar food to bar food, sometimes it's hard to make those nutritional choices. But
they're just slight choices. So like instead of going and getting like the sloppy taco, you get the chicken.
Right.
Like,
try to do it.
do.
There are small changes that you can do. Instead of eating the fried, eat the grilled. Certain things, and you'll see a change.
Instead of the full Coke with Jack, get the diet and Jack.
One thing I've learned, a wise man, a friend of mine once told me, Bobby Sopa, the wise man, said, all you have to do to lose weight and eat right is to put the word diet in front of anything. Like this diet sausage is so good.
Okay, don't believe Johnny Rizzo what he says.
This diet brisket is just out of this world.
The diet brisket,
and
yes.
you like this diet.
As he's sitting there with 4 plates
As
of
you
barbecue
can see,
in
don't
front of
listen
him
to
and
this
a
man
double
here,
XL motorcycle shirt.
And Irish Pat's out there. He's rooting for the Mets out there. Irish Pat, wait till I get back. We're in Texas town, baby.
But yeah, be more proactive. Like you said, there are certain, you're on the road. As far as like, we go to a lot of these events. They got hot dogs, hamburgers. You don't have too many choices there.
Right.
But
Salad, please.
Salad food truck.
There's no such thing as a salad food truck.
There needs
Okay.
to
Well,
be
there
a
probably
chop
is,
shop.
but
maybe, skip the buns. I do it. If we go to a barbecue,
The lettuce
or something,
cannolis.
skip the hot dog instead, have the burger, and skip the buns on the burger, and just get a fork.
All the flavors in the
or
meat
eat
anyway.
like they did, just pick up the burger and eat it.
Yeah.
Where are we going
Hands
after this?
and a napkin.
We're going
well,
to Will Hoyt.
we're going to Will Hoyt's after this.
All right, so
which
we're going to eat
the
salads when we
food
get there,
is-
right?
They
The
do have
food
a
is
killer
very
salad
nutritious.
bar.
Well, yes.
They have an amazing salad bar, actually.
Yes.
I'm starving.
So
See my ribs.
Up.
all right, let's get off the nutritional for a second. Let's talk about Rock and Road for a Cure on how that became developed, because that is something you are very, very passionate about. You and Johnny Bolt.
And she really is. And I got to tell you, she's up all night long. And I wake up at like 5 a.m. She's still working. And I'm like, don't go to bed. You have to go to sleep. Go days. She'll go days, weeks. And I've never seen anybody so passionate about something that she does. I'm very proud of what she does. And I think it's awesome what you do.
Awesome.
I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you. I am passionate about it. And again, it's about the support I had when I went through this. It's about, being there for each other, and about giving back and helping others in the community that don't have what maybe we might have, or be as fortunate. And when I speak to someone even younger than me, now I got diagnosed initially, my first bout, I was 39 years old. So when you say, when should you start checking right away, as a teenager, start checking, know your body, know
There's
your
not a rule
boobies,
book to this.
know your body. And so my first bout, I had the whole gamut. I had 4 surgeries. I, had chemo, immunotherapy. I had then follow up with a tamoxifen pill, which actually blocks your estrogen. And I was only 40 then. They started blocking, although my body fought it, and I'm happy it did. But anyway, with everything that you put in your body, drugs, there's always side effects.
Right.
There's always side effects. So, with the tamoxifen, I got a side effect where it caused a grapefruit-sized tumor on my ovary, which thank God that wasn't cancerous, and I wouldn't know until after they did surgery. But I am here, and I'm here for a reason. I'm here so that I could give the help that people need out there. And we do help we're not a cookie cutter organization. We have nurse case managers who will call and work with you and see what your needs are. And from there, that's when we follow up with what you need to get through this journey with the least amount of stress as possible. We try to lower your stress, help you with coping, things like that. But we do provide housekeeping, transportation, lymphedema sleeves, wigs, nutritional consults, yoga, Reiki. We're starting a new program with Sound Bowl Energy as well,
okay. Yeah.
which should be coming off the ground maybe in about a month or so. So we do a lot of different, like you were talking about, modalities. Like, we're talking about extending your life before, living longer. Those modalities you're talking about, which, meet the spirituality of yourself, your physical, your mental, which I actually study recreational therapy. That's what my study was. I got a master's degree. And, with these different modalities you talk about, and we're not talking about drugs or medicine. We're talking about natural things you could do to lower your stress, whether it's yoga, whether it's reading a book, whether
it's going out and killing deer.
Yeah, it could be hunting, whatever it is. It's like you said, ink, wind therapy.
Right.
There's so many things. So find those things that, if you're going through cancer, find those things that make you happy. Surround yourself with people that give you positive energy. People that make you laugh is very important. The endorphins that your body naturally makes helps you to fight any disease that you have in your body. Laughter, there's studies on this. Even I'm talking about the sound energy healing bowls. There's certain frequencies also that help you with soothing or curing. So there's other things you could do besides the doctor telling you, here, take this chemo, take this pill, take away your estrogen and all that. So just, do your research. So we provide some of these things that people don't have access to, people may not have money for. People, we're talking about the mammograms. Every state, they have nonprofit organizations or even hospitals that provide free mammograms. You just got to do your research.
I would not know that.
Google it in. Like, I'm in New York. We have many hospitals that they're called mammo vans. And what they do is it's a big RV that has mammogram machines inside the truck. And they go around to different areas where people are underinsured or have no insurance, and they could get a free mammogram in the truck. And then from there, if somebody is found that they have a positive diagnosis, they'll follow up and help them to get the insurance that they need.
See, we need to know about it. If there's somebody that knows something like that in the DFW area, I would love for you to post and tag.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
Just make sure that when the van pulls up, it didn't say free candy and that's crossed out, and then it says free mammograms. Just watch the truck that you're getting into.
So I'm sure there's
just a disclaimer.
In Texas there has to be these type of things that they provide over here. And I'm hoping. My son actually is going for his PhD at Texas A&M.
That's why you're down here.
And he's doing breast cancer research.
That's the second reason why they're here.
He's been for 2 years now. He's researching estrogen and progesterone positive breast cancer, which that's the type I had, and also triple negative.
You inspired him.
And also he's doing research for children that have Down syndrome, but not children, but women that are carrying babies where the chromosome is off, and they're trying to figure out how to get that extra chromosome in so that the baby's not born with Down syndrome.
Wow.
So he's doing a lot here, and he's going for his PhD. And so we're hoping to start a chapter here. I don't know in this area, but in Texas somewhere,
right.
so that we could provide some of these services here. And if there's anybody out there listening to me that would like to help fund the program of us starting Rockin' the Road for a Cure chapter here in Texas, please reach out to the 99% and, give them your information. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Guys.
Gonna go worldwide with this.
Yeah. So we do a lot of, with the motorcycle we raffled, I just want to get back to that, was the first question. So the guy that won, Joe Romeo. So we did it at the end of our Boogie for Boobies event. And we put everybody's name in a virtual wheel that, got a raffle, and they spun it up on the screens. So we started with number 20 and we worked our way down to the grand prize of the motorcycle. And Johnny was up there announcing the winners.
Got every name wrong, by the way.
And which I am sorry, but I had to get over here to Texas. I will be posting the runner-up winners as well, and have contacted some. And some were already there to pick up their prizes. But the man that won, he said he bought a ticket back in April, and then the day before the event, he bought a ticket. And he said he was manifesting in his mind to win this bike. He kept thinking positive. He even looked up on AI what were the chances of him winning.
Yeah.
And he saw, because we did it live on Facebook. He wasn't at the event, but he was watching to see who was the winners. And when his name came up, he said he couldn't believe it because Johnny spelt his name wrong. He spelt it.
Well, can we talk about that for 1 second? First of all, I'm deaf.
You're not the only one that spells it wrong.
And this is funny because this is on me because I'm deaf legally. I don't wear. I have hearing aids. I never wear them. And she yelled at me on the way here. Why did I bring them? I wear them. And when we were putting the names in the computer, she reading me the names, and I kept putting the wrong things in. So his name was Romeo, and I put Roneo.
Romeo.
So I was wrong. I should have heard him.
And so the guy didn't know if he really won because of that end.
That little bit.
So he actually got in his car, he said, and he came down to the club and he's shaking. He's like this. Did I win the bike? Did I win? And I said, are you Joe Romeo? Yes. I go, I already sent you an email. He goes, you did? And he's looking and he's, you did. Because with the PayPal, we had his email. So even though there was one letter that was off, his email matched with the that went out. And he was so happy. Yeah. He said he has a daughter who has special needs. And it meant so much for him. He said he always gave to charities and he always supported different charities as his daughter was, growing up. And he decided, whether he won or not, he felt like it was a good charity to give to. But he was so appreciative. And that meant a lot to me. He got up on stage with Johnny and he had tears in his eyes. So to me, that means the world.
Yeah. Unlike the guy we had last year who argued with us about paying the taxes on the bike.
And he offered anyone that wanted a ride on the back of his bike a ride.
So I got the first ride coming up. Yeah.
Then that's going to be it for that poor man.
Well, actually, when we were talking about the mobile mammogram, one of our girls, Cuff, she's part of the LEMC, or Thin Blue Line LEMC. She said Parkland Mobile Mammogram Van travels throughout Dallas County, visiting each of Parkland community clinics. So there is something out there that if you guys need to look that up, it's Parkland Mobile Mammogram Van.
Awesome. And
that's great.
And this is what this is all about. It's networking, it's resources, it's bringing everything together to get you healthy, fit, and
early detection's the best again.
All right. I want to thank Johnny Rizzo and Dawn for being part of this. I want to bring on real quick before we do the monologue. I want to bring on we just had that event for Pinups and Pistons. The little thing we just did over at Fort Worth Indian. Hunting with Soldiers. I want to bring up Billy Chance and his son. Come on up, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, you got it, brothers and sisters.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. We're going to head over to the...
I'll meet you there.
Wait.
We're
almost done.
I'll follow you. You guys can follow me.
Guys.
So I'm gonna
Billy, man, you've been a part of Hunting with Soldiers for a long time. You're also part of the Jessica Chance Foundation. Jessica was your daughter.
Yes, sir.
She, this story inspires me so much because you took her for her, and you mind if I share it? Billy took his daughter for her driving, a driver's license, and checked the box for organ donation was on what the application. She asked Billy what it was about. He explained it. Jessica checked the box, right? A young kid. How old was she? 16?
15.
15 at that time. She checked the box, and sadly to say, probably a year later,
Yeah, but she was 17 about a month before she turned 18. So.
she was tragically killed in a single motor vehicle accident. But because she checked that box, that donor box, how many lives were saved?
Well, I don't have the exact number. We have, of course, Big Bird. Right now.
Yeah, with the
Big Bird.
He received her kidney. There's a lady down in Houston received her heart. There's 2 people in Dallas received their vision back.
Wow.
I mean, it's hundreds. Each donor's hundreds of people that can help with
That's
tissue
wild.
and organs.
That's
And,
wild.
and all you got to do is just check the
Just
box.
check the box.
Just check the box.
Just said, what am I going to do with them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Strong
Yeah,
woman,
absolutely.
strong woman. But I could see where that comes from. I could see it from him, and I could see it from you. You raise some really amazing children. You give back to the community. Hunting with Soldiers, who, Gordon Melton brings our military veterans who come back a little, broken from the things that they've seen, the things that they've witnessed, battling some mental health issues, takes them out on hunting and fishing trips, which you've both been part of. And you've seen the transition of our combat vets and even our veterans that are out there with mental health issues. They come in broken and they leave a little less broken after the trip, correct?
Absolutely. It's just a weekend. And so you see a transformation in a 2-day hunt or 2-day fishing trip. And I didn't serve. I didn't see none of what they've seen, but just listen to the stories, letting them talk. And they're with group people that have served.
It's a healing
like Ron
process.
did. And we do Jessica Chance Memorial hunts. We do a youth hunt. So we have the kids.
I saw
come out.
you shooting. I saw you shooting and cleaning your deer.
Yeah. So we have the
you got a
kids
deer
come out and
recently?
get to hang out. He didn't get one this year.
Yeah.
No, last year, right?
He's been on a turkey spree this year. So.
Oh yeah. That's fun, huh?
But it's
like to
actually
hunt,
really
too.
cool to see the kids get to hang out with other kids that are maybe going through the same thing at home.
Yep.
That's
Those
what it's
kids in their
about.
School don't get to see.
Right. That's what the whole thing of
so
Huntington
it's,
Soldiers is like-minded people getting together. Either it's kids, the families,
Yep.
the veterans. It's all about being like-minded.
It's funny when we
Big
do
Bird
the
was
youth
talking about the
hunts.
campfires.
Yeah.
The campfires was his biggest
that's
like
the best
thing.
part of the hunt.
Yes.
Yep. Because mental health doesn't just affect our first responders or our veteran. It impacts the whole entire family unit.
Mhm.
Each person is impacted by that mental health issue. So what Hunting with Soldiers does is it supports not only the veterans, it supports their families as well.
Yep.
And through Pinups and Pistons, this was our first event that we've run, and we chose Hunting with Soldiers. And because we didn't have the big check yet, but
We're gonna get there.
we're going to get it to you. We raised a total of $500 to donate to Hunting with Soldiers.
That's awesome.
I know
All the
it's not a lot, but
registration, all the registration, all the bikes and cars that registered, all that money that was raised from that went directly to you guys.
No, we appreciate that.
We
That's
loved
awesome.
having you guys. Big Bird was there with his Big Bird bike.
yeah.
It was a great
we were
event.
chasing baseball games
Yep.
that weekend. So
But
That's
we,
important.
we felt it was important. We hope that money helps you guys.
absolutely.
And
Because the soldiers go on these trips.
Yes.
They don't pay for these trips. You
This
guys
is a-
completely take them on these
100%
trips. for free.
expense paid. All they owe us when they leave's a handshake.
That's right.
And we
So the
try to
money-
get, and we can't do that without y'all. So we appreciate it.
Well, we want to
well,
help anytime
we
can.
appreciate you too. Well, I want to thank you guys for dropping in and coming in, and hopefully that $500 can go to
Yeah,
something
it'll
really
help.
well.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming in. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to get into the monologue, the famous monologue we all like to hear right after this.
Take some barbecue.
I was in an accident 12 months ago to the day. I was driving on southbound Santa Fe, and somebody did a suicide left in front of me, and I T-boned him at 45 miles an hour. From that point forward, I don't remember anything for the next 18 days because I was in a coma.
She broke 9 bones, lacerated my spleen, put me in the hospital for 21 days. I remember none of it.
Biker Down was founded in 2011 after riding several rides over the summer and seeing, tragically, my friends get injured. And I felt that there was a need missing in Denver and in Colorado for an organization that helped the biker community. As you may know, the bikers are one of the most charitable entities out there, and what we do is provide them a variety of services such as medical equipment, financial assistance if necessary, and a plethora of resources to help them stay afloat during the hardest time in their life, which is their recovery. You know, my biggest hope is that I'll never get another phone call that a biker's gone down, but that's not realistic. So I think my true realistic dream is that we can help as many as we can help, because it is life-changing for them. Certainly donating and volunteering your time, and even if you can't do that, attend our events. Attend our event and get a $20 t-shirt for your $20. Those kind of things make a big difference in a small nonprofit like ours.
Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo.
Oh,
everybody.
Mongo, sorry we got you on a little late. We were pressed for time. We had a packed show today, man. But thank you for being patient, brother.
No worries. Hey, just so y'all know, I'm down to 207 pounds.
Whoa, look at you.
Yeah.
Whiskey and cigar is the proper diet.
See,
Whiskey and cigars.
I like that diet.
All right, so let me get started. Actually, this monologue actually semi ties in with your last guest. So today's monologue is on PTSD. Keep in mind that when I put these monologues together, I'm limiting myself to 4 pages of dialogue. Most of the subjects that I cover could actually fill a textbook if I were to dig deep. Basically, I'm giving a thumbnail sketch of my topics with every paragraph, but I'm still trying to tell a cogent story. Your feedback is always welcome, but try not to murder me because I don't tell a complete story. I know that I'm cutting corners. When you serve in the military, you will of course be exposed to a different collection of occurrences. Some events become traumatic events, things that ordinary civilians wouldn't be expected to expose to. You may see combat, and you may have been on missions that expose you to horrible or life-threatening experiences. You may have experienced serious events in a training accident. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, occurs when an individual experiences a traumatic event that exceeds the limits of their psychological endurance. These types of events can lead to PTSD. PTSD is slightly more common among veterans than civilians. At some point in their life, 7% of veterans will experience PTSD. PTSD is also more common among female veterans. 13% of female veterans versus 6% of male veterans will experience it. Currently, we are learning more about transgender veterans and those who do not identify as male or female, binary, non-binary. I'm not going to even try to understand this last group, but I will acknowledge it for now anyway. This group does exist. However, as of yesterday with the Supreme Court decision that they can get them out of the military, they may not be existing for much longer within our armed services. And since I went off script, I have to find my spot again. Okay. Now I promise those will be the last statistics that I will give during the course of this narrative. I hate giving statistics. People generally do not tend to listen to them anyway. but I felt in this case it was important to give them just a few of them. Various factors in combat situations may contribute to PTSD and or other mental health problems. Other variables to one's vulnerability include an individual's military occupational skill or specialty. For combat veterans, other variables include where a war was fought and the type of enemy that was encountered. Each individual is different and all will react differently even when exposed to the exact same incident. Each individual's reaction, both mentally and physically, is a result of each person's life experiences as well as how they've learned through their life's experiences to deal with those various situations. Originally developed in 1952, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM, which I had to look up, was developed in response to many World War II veterans who described heightened levels of psychological stress due to their experiences in combat. PTSD was not officially recognized as a diagnosis until 1980. Post-traumatic stress disorder is the mental health disorder. It occurs when an individual experiences a trauma or a traumatic event that exceeds the limit of his or her own psychological endurance. PTSD has also been termed using other names such as shell shock, combat fatigue, and post-Vietnam syndrome. Now, my intention here is not to make this narrative about me. I only offer the following because it may give some perspective on what individuals may be going through. Throughout my military and law enforcement career, I have seen and done many things, many of which weren't very pleasant. I honestly thought that I would mentally be okay, especially after my first shooting incident as a law enforcement officer. Without going into the details of the incident, afterwards I was sent to the psychologist as a matter of routine. He told me all of the horrible things that I would be going through as a result of this incident. After he explained all of this to me, I told him that I only had one simple question for him. And that question was, what if I don't experience any of those things? What if I see the incident in a whole different light? In my mind, the way I looked at it, it seemed very logical. If a police officer sees someone run a red light in front of them, chances are the police officer will issue a citation. In this particular case, if an armed robbery suspect pulls a gun on me, they're going to get shot. This is the way that my mind processed this fatal shooting incident, and I suffered no immediate or obvious lasting effects as a result. Now, fast forward to late in my career when I was involved in another fatal shooting incident. In this incident, I was critically wounded, but not before putting a bullet into the heart of the asshole that shot me. Unfortunately, my partner was killed. Although my injuries were severe, most of my thoughts were on my partner who had not survived. Throughout my entire rehabilitation, I was severely depressed. My thoughts revolved around my personal situation, not my personal situation, my family, as well as the loss of my partner. At one point during this evolution, I sat in my backyard with a gun in my hand, prepared to kill myself because I had survived and my partner did not. I didn't know exactly what it was that stopped me, but I was seeing a psychologist at the time, and I continued to see her for many years after the second shooting incident. Unfortunately for my family, my wife took her life during this difficult period. Through circumstances, I snapped out of my mental funk because I had 2 children that I had to deal with. I recovered mentally, and I ensured that my kids received the mental health care that they needed. They have both since moved on and are living successful and productive lives. I consider it a blessing that we have all 3 successfully moved on. It's important to understand and be educated on how PTSD can affect veterans and first responders. These persons see and do things that are not necessarily part of a normal life's experiences. These individuals actually do and see things that, for the most part, are only seen on the big screen and can actually be traumatic, can actually be traumatic. Also, PTSD has a dramatic influence on not just the veteran, but also on their family and social relationships. These relationships can either facilitate or hinder their recovery. However, the diagnostic criteria for PTSD are complex and ambiguous. Their complexity is attributed to the individual's nature of the individual nature of the disorder. People suffering with PTSD tend to have negative thoughts and feelings about themselves, others, and the world around them. They begin to lose their unique perspective. They often have difficulty trusting people and find it hard to be happy. Their perceptions are distorted, and what once seemed normal is no longer the case for these persons dealing with PTSD. They are at an increased risk of suicide, which can be explained by the negative beliefs that they have about themselves. Trauma can be difficult or an unpleasant experience that causes someone to have mental or emotional problems, usually for long periods of time. Clearly, trauma has the potential to harm an individual's mental well-being and can lead to undesirable health consequences. PTSD is a chronic condition that can have life-altering or disabling. It affects the overall well-being of a patient and is the third most common disability among military veterans. PTSD results and poor individual outcomes can include depression, substance abuse, and physical health problems. PTSD and substance abuse frequently occur together. Intrusive memories or traumatic events may lead to sleep and concentration difficulties. PTSD is one of the most common disabilities within the veterans community. However, most veterans and first responders with PTSD do not receive adequate mental health care. These individuals are not the kind of people who freely express their emotions or their need for mental health. For many, this would be a sign of weakness after surviving various events and experiences. Veterans and first responders are more likely to develop PTSD than civilians. It's just the nature of their job and their experiences. Among veterans, those who deploy are more likely to have PTSD than veterans who do not. Depression isn't an act. Suicide isn't a coward's escape, and self-harm is not a cry for attention. PTSD isn't something that you can just snap out of. We as a society need to stop acting like we know everything about what the affected individual is experiencing. Ultimately, the heroes that we see on TV and the movies are only pretending to do the heroic things. Most people can't imagine what our real heroes, veterans and first responders, do around the clock every single day. We need to appreciate our veterans and first responders every day for who they are and what they do for our society and for our country every day as a course of duty. And that, my friends, is that. Whiskey improves with age. I improve with whiskey. My name is Mongo. Whiskey goes in, wisdom comes out, and I smoke cigars and I know things. Mongo is out.
Fitting monologue, because I'll tell you right now, because we, as a first responder, we never know when triggers are going to hit. This weekend I got triggered and went into a downward spiral, and you never know when it's going to hit, and it's so hard to get out of.
And it was after having like a positive event.
Yes.
It wasn't something that you had like a bad day.
Exactly. It's just that one thing that can trigger you, and everybody's individualized. Everybody gets triggered in a different way. Mm-hmm. You bring up the DSM. I don't like to use the word disorder. I don't like to use the word PTSD because we are not disordered. Mm-hmm. We are injured. Our brain is injured, just like a TBI. Right. So the DSM, what that is for is it's a book. It's a DSM-5. I think they're up to the DSM-7 now. The DSM-7 is a medical book that allows it diagnoses you as a disorder so doctors and therapists can bill. That's what the DSM-5 is, and the DSM-6.
Yeah, it's an insurance book.
It's an insurance book.
Broad strokes, so like you fit in the category.
Correct.
Maybe.
So, post-traumatic stress is not a disorder by any means. It's an injury to the brain that impacts our first responders and our veterans, and it impacts any traumatic injury to anybody. It doesn't even have to be a first responder or it could be a rape victim, it could be a crime victim, it could be anything. So it's not a disorder, it's an injury to the brain. But Mongo, you really explained it well. And this is where the awareness aspect comes with post-traumatic stress. And I see Gordon on here as well. Mm-hmm. Post-traumatic stress is a war waged upon you by your demons. And it's the demons that we've seen. It's the demons that impacted us.
And it's never won by one person, as
right.
we added.
Yep. While we try to serve our cities, our states, or our country, these young men and women who go out and do a job that nobody else wants to do so that we as American citizens can sleep well at night are impacted, and we're not doing enough for them. We're not giving them the resources and the mental health treatment that they deserve. And I'm going to bring this up because Travis Howes brought up a great thing, and I missed my workshop last week, and I want to bring this up. And Mongo, you'll back me up on this. When an officer in the line of duty gets shot, right? We see hundreds of officers go to that hospital, correct, Mongo?
Yep.
Right? We're outside praying for his well-being, praying that he survives, right? When that officer is released from the hospital, right, there's a line of cops cheering and congratulating him as the nurse staff wheels him out. And we support him in every way. But when an officer or a veteran checks himself into a mental health facility, where is his support? Where are his brothers and sisters out there?
They probably do it in secret in a way.
Right. But yeah, they do.
You know.
But even if they go on, say, hey, I'm going for a mental health treatment, nobody is there to support him except his family sometimes.
People don't understand. They shouldn't look down on like, oh, he's going to get help. It's not like, ooh, no, he's going to get help. That's a positive thing.
Yes.
I mean, that's a positive. Don't ever look down on somebody for one, admitting that they need help, going to get help.
It's huge.
You should never judge anybody for that.
Correct.
And what's surprising, and I just experienced this a couple of weeks ago, is like I said, for the most part, I don't give it much thought what happened to me in the past. It's beyond me. But the movie about the LAPD officers, the two partners, Jake Gyllenhaal is one partner, and the little Hispanic guy is his other partner.
Yep.
And the whole movie's about them and all their adventures, and they film each other while they're doing their things. I forget the name of the movie, but I saw it when it first came out.
End of Watch.
Yeah, End of Watch. Exactly. I saw it when it first came out, and after I watched that movie, I was like, I can't watch that movie ever again, because I usually watch movies over and over and over again, but I couldn't. But it was on a couple of weeks ago. My wife said, "Oh, let's watch this." So I sat there and watched it, and when it was over, I told her, I go, "It's a good movie." I said, "But now I remember why I don't watch this movie, and I'll never watch this movie again." Because
that
it does
happened with my father-in-law who lives with me. He's 85, Vietnam vet. He loves his old Western channels and stuff, but I switch it up for him and like put it on board. He likes that kind of stuff. But there was one movie, and I wish I could think of what it was. I came in at the end of the movie, and he was upset.
Yeah,
he was upset, and I didn't know how to handle it because I mean he's my father-in-law, and so I was just like, oh, like almost hysterically, and I was just like, I called Springer, and I was like, he's upset. Like I knew what to talk, but it was like I needed his son to be there because that was like a new thing for me because something in that movie triggered him about a loss. There was something about somebody who was, killed in a war, and it just triggered him.
It's such a complex injury because it's not one diagnosis.
Mm-mm.
We have so many different senses in our body between sight, smell, sound, feeling, touch, whatever it is. Anything can trigger that that mental health response to that incident, and it brings you back there, and it's the most scariest thing in the world.
And I've known him as I've known him as a strong man. I've never seen him. I only know little bits and pieces. I'm just a dollar and all, but like to see him in that vulnerable moment, because now he lives with us and I saw it, it makes you think of like all the other times that he had to deal with that by himself.
Yeah.
And we were at least there to go, we acknowledged it and like, oh, what's going on? You want to talk about it? But a lot of times people like that, 85 years old, they're veterans. They have all those things and they deal with that by themselves.
Yep.
It just was heartbreaking.
It is. And Mongo, the movie that you were talking about, End of Watch, I'm sure that has instances in there that replay through your head.
Oh yeah.
For incidents that happen to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And as strong as you are, and as much as you try to be try to get through those daily hurdles, one scene in a movie, one statement in a movie could really put you over the edge. And I have compassion for you, brother. Once again, this is a serious issue. Hunting with Soldiers does this on a daily basis. They take out our veterans and they try to heal them one by one.
Give them an avenue.
Giving them an avenue. So thank you, Mongo. I do
Yes.
appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. As a matter of fact, it was actually watching the movie End of Watch a couple of weeks ago that caused me to write this. And I've got a couple of them written ahead of time, but I wouldn't have written this except for that. It put something in my head and I was like, I'm going to write about it.
Yep. And you know what? You probably helped so many people talking about this, because there are a lot of uneducated people out there, a lot of people that do not know how to deal with it, how to respond to it. And education is the best with dealing with a family member of post-traumatic stress. Trigger words, trigger thoughts, way emotions, everything else. Learn the signs, learn the triggers, and you will be healing your partner or your spouse or your friend or your foe or your battle buddy, whatever it is. Just knowing how to react to certain situations. So thank you, Mongo.
You're welcome. Adios.
Adios, brother. Once again, man, this is 99% Radio Network. Want to thank all our guests, Johnny Rizzo and Dawn with Motorcycle Mayhem and Rockin' the Road for a Cure. I want to thank Glenn Lawson, our sponsor in the Biker Wolfpack. Want to thank Flex with his health seminar that, getting healthy with Flex. Want to thank Angelo behind the board, man, for chiming in. Want to thank Lone Star Barbecue for the amazing food. Randall, thank you so much. Real quick.
Yes, some of the vendors that we had. So we had soy and salsa. I heard they had amazing egg rolls.
They did. Me and Tigger loved those egg rolls.
We had RG Cocina, Texas Veteran Security Force, Battling Buddies, of course, Tattoo Mark, Fort Worth Aviation Museum, of course, the Biker Wolfpack, Koala Corner, Dranger Axe Throwing, and Mark by Brock. We have to say a big shout out to them. They did not make it to the event because they got in a car accident that morning, but we still appreciate you and all the efforts that you had to support us.
Yes.
Sorry you couldn't make it, and I hope you were doing well.
Yeah, so once again, catch us every Wednesday. Next week, we go to 3 hours because we have a lot of content to bring to you. We want to raise the awareness because when the rubber meets the road, we can make a difference together. We showed it here today. Support your veterans, your first responders, your bikers, your anybody. If you could be anything in this world, be kind. Peace.